From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
COVID-19 numbers in Marion County are slowly improving, and that means local bars will soon be allowed to reopen on a limited basis. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Amanda Starantino. Today, Mayor Joe Hogsett announced that bars and nightclubs can reopen next Tuesday. However, indoor capacity will be limited to just 25%, while outdoor capacity will be 50%. In addition, if you go to a bar, you'll have to sit at a table, as sitting at the bar will still not be allowed. Moving around inside a bar will also be limited.
And I promise you that Dr. Kane and her team will go full footloose on your business if you're operating as a dance club.
The mayor says Marion County's other COVID-19 restrictions, including the mandatory mask order, will remain in effect. The state health department reports 4 more deaths from the coronavirus. 3,110 Hoosiers have now died from COVID-19. More than 96,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus, and more than 1.4 million people have been tested in Indiana. Indiana University says COVID-19 cases on parts of its campus are getting out of hand. That's why they are taking action aimed at the Greek organizations where a lot of the spread of the virus is coming from. Today, IU announced that it would recommend the shutdown of all 40 Greek houses on the Bloomington campus. 30 of those houses were already under quarantine due to a high number of COVID-19 cases and close contacts. The final call on the houses, however, will be up to the Greek organizations themselves. IU says around 2,600 students live in the Greek houses. Carney says the positive test rates in many of those houses is well above 50%. He says dorms on the Bloomington campus are not seeing high test rates so far. Families are being forced to make tough decisions when it comes to their kids' education. Most districts across the state are giving families the option of e-learning or in person. But we talked to one parent where that is not the case for her child's district. Despite loving Willow Lake Elementary in Washington Township schools, she pulled her child from it because it was entirely e-learning. Sarah Hulsapple says it was not working for her family, and they decided to leave the district and enrolled him in a private school that is currently in person.
Ultimately, you have 7-year-olds looking at a computer screen for 3 to 4 hours of a day and expecting them to then retain the information that they're learning. And at least for my 7-year-old, it wasn't working, it wasn't functional, and we could honestly see a regression from the beginning of the school year up until now.
The Marion County Health Department has provided some guidance for schools recommending when the percentage of positive cases in the county reaches 13% or higher, there should be no in-person classes. But in Washington Township, if the percent positive is 5.1% or higher, schools will remain closed. Right now, Marion County is at 5.2%. Last week, the governor extended the mask-up mandate for another month, and many Hoosiers are finding themselves having to wear a mask all day long. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson now with the problems this could potentially cause and what you can do to prevent them.
If you haven't experienced it yourself, I'm sure you've heard of it, maskne, the result of having breakouts on your face from wearing a mask all day long. I spoke to Beth Brogan with Ascension Dermatology, and she tells me they have seen more patients coming in with new breakouts, both adults and teens. She tells me there are some things you can do to prevent this maskne from happening. She says most importantly, you need to be using a new mask every day, washing the reusable ones, and making sure your skin is clean before putting the mask on.
Wiping off your face periodically throughout the day if you are able to take a mask break. For our female patients, I recommend they not wear makeup underneath the mask because that can make it worse.
Brogan says any over-the-counter products that work for regular acne will of course work for maskne, but nothing is an overnight fix, and you just need to be patient and use something mild. The governor's mask mandate is set to expire on September 27th, but for now, Brogan says if you wear a 100% cotton mask, it's going to be more breathable and also make you less likely to have those breakouts. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
And thank you, Kelsey. A warm one today. We hit 87 for the afternoon high with humidity, so you can talk about the heat index as well. We'll have a brief, significant, noticeable change from the heat and humidity, but it will be brief. As you look from the Motor Speedway across Turn 2 to downtown, everything looking good. I keep checking to the northwest of Indianapolis. There's a cold front here, and will it generate some showers? The answer is possibly. There are a couple right now in Warren County and toward Delphi, but the question is, do they become very significant? Probably not. We don't want to get our hopes up too high, but until the front actually goes through, a shower still possible until about 11 o'clock. Bloomington 81, it's 83 in Indianapolis. The wind has been noticeable today out of the west southwest so far, anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour. Overnight, the wind direction will change. Once it comes out of the northwest, our temperatures will start to fall. 9 o'clock, see, the model wants to develop some showers. It might be a little on the aggressive side. Then it drops south and east by 11, and any rain chance will be gone. Temperature by midnight down to 72 degrees. Afternoon temperatures tomorrow have to recover first from temperatures in the 50s. Another comfortable morning on the way tomorrow, and then again on Saturday. Here, the afternoon highs were in the 70s tomorrow with tons of sun. Amanda?
Thanks, Kevin. Some local residents are tired of the trash in their neighborhood. Coming up, they are asking WRTV for help with an illegal dump, and we try to find out whether the city is helping to get rid of it.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
It's something people in many central Indiana neighborhoods can relate to. Trash and junk illegally dumped in their streets and alleys. A man who lives near this mess is turning to WRTV for help. Our Cameron Riddle shares that neighbor's message for the litter bugs and asks the city what can be done to put a stop to the problem, no matter where you live.
On the east side of Indianapolis, there is an ongoing problem. Trash illegally dumped in multiple places. In one case, making an alley impassable. And about a mile away, a city street looks like a salvage yard.
There's two phases to it. I mean, one, the community needs to just stop dumping their trash in our alleys. I am an east sider. And two, the city probably knows this is here, and why they're not cleaning it up or haven't cleaned it up, I don't have any idea.
Tim Hughes says for months he has watched trash pile up in this alley across the street from the juvenile center. The alley, which passes between homes and a gas station at the corner of 25th and Keystone, is filled with parts of couches, pillows, dumped tree limbs, and whatever else. And on any given day, dumped items turn Valley Avenue under the I-70 bridge into an obstacle course. Last week, we found everything from a toilet to a piano.
There were couches, there were big, old, heavy flat screen TVs, man, a bunch of trees, maybe a little drywall, you know, just over on Valley Street is just ongoing dumping ground.
Hughes wants whoever is dumping trash to stop using the place he calls home as their community trash heap.
Cameron, it's a shame that we have people out here doing it. You know, they go out, they make the easy dollar, and instead of going to the dump, they just come into an alley and dump it, and it's really a shame. We really ought to stop treating our community like this.
Since last week, much of the trash on Valley Avenue has been cleared. But already today, a set of tires was found dumped on the same street. Hughes is now retired, but was a longtime employee of the Department of Public Works.
Being a former city worker, I can tell you, these people know where they can get away with dumping this stuff at. So if you were to clean this up today, they may be back tomorrow, who knows, but it's a shame.
On the east side, Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
We reached out to the city and learned the Department of Business and Neighborhood Services has investigated 8 cases of illegal dumping in that specific area of the east side. They have referred the cases to the Department of Public Works to be cleaned up. The department encourages anyone who notices trash piling up or illegal dumping to contact the Mayor's Action Center. They also plan to continue organizing monthly cleanups once coronavirus restrictions are lifted. And for a small fee, you can drop off large items of heavy trash every Saturday at the Citizens Transfer Station on South Belmont Avenue.
In the short term, cooler temperatures will be brought in from Wisconsin, Minnesota, down into the Hoosier State. How long will we hold off the heat? Find out coming up.
The IU School of Medicine is looking for 1,500 volunteers. The school is the only site in Indiana that's part of a massive study of a potential coronavirus vaccine. The potential vaccine was developed by drug company AstraZeneca in partnership with Oxford University in the UK. The study will especially focus on finding volunteers who are people of color. That's because Black and Latino populations have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19.
African Americans have a mistrust a lot of times in the medical community, and this can be due to things such as systemic racism. It can be due to other clinical trials that have occurred in the past. But it's my hope that through education, as well as just my presence being there, that more African Americans will be willing to participate.
This is one of 4 vaccines entering the final stage of testing in the U.S. before it could be approved by the federal government. The 8-week study will begin the middle of this month. If you are interested in volunteering, we have info on how you can do that at our website, WRTV.com.
And it's been a beautiful day, a little on the warm side. Temperatures noticeably cooler tomorrow. Again, we've got our eye on the radar just for a couple of showers that may develop right now on a line from Lafayette down to Champaign and St. Louis. There is a cold front here. That would be the spark for some of these isolated showers during the next several hours. 81 in Bloomington, 83 in Indy, Lafayette. Temperature above average for this time of year as well. Again, we'll pick up the timeline around 9 o'clock. Certainly the model's hinting that we develop a couple of showers. It's a broken line. Don't count on much in the way of rain at your house. We'll be lucky. We could use it, no doubt. We'll take some rain if we can squeeze it out before we have a couple of dry days. By 7 a.m., you see the sharp clearing line as the clouds move out of the state. Follow the arrows here. The northwest wind overnight becomes a north wind tomorrow. That will be responsible for grabbing hold of the cooler air that I showed you up in Minnesota and Wisconsin. That will lower our humidity as well and keep our temperatures in the 70s for a day. And do this, put low temperatures as cool as the mid-50s on Saturday morning. That's the coolest temperature within this 7-day planner. Overnight lows and the afternoon highs start to warm up once again. The humidity hits a rock bottom tomorrow afternoon. It starts to come back slowly. It's back next week, and that will be some of the moisture used to create possibility of some thunderstorms once again. 77 the high tomorrow, best day of the week, probably best day of the 7-day forecast when you put all the pieces of the puzzle together. The sunshine, low humidity, and below average temperatures. Still sunny. 82 Saturday. The chance for a shower or thunder shower comes in later Sunday, but notice it's just a 20% chance. Much better chance you'll be dry than wet, so do not change any weekend plans. Temperatures tomorrow by noon in the lower 70s. 75 will be the afternoon high temperature. 77 in Indy. Temperatures to the south and west a little bit warmer. 78. As you look at the weekend, we step into the weekend, temperatures, as we mentioned, warming up a little bit. Humidity, it'll be a subtle climb. 82 for the afternoon high with all that sunshine. Some spots to the north struggle to hit 80, and 82 the popular number south of Interstate 70. If you look at temperatures into next week, you begin to see quickly how we'll warm back up. 87 on Tuesday for the high temperature. The chance of a shower or thunder shower lingers Tuesday and Wednesday. Never gets too high though. And Labor Day itself, as you look at the 7-day planner, dry, 86 degrees. Temperatures back in the 60s, middle to upper 60s on that stretch from Labor Day, Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning as well. Afternoon high temperature of 87 Tuesday happens to be the warmest temperature in the 7-day outlook. 7:19, we'll be back with more news right after this.
Right now, WRTV is raising money to make sure kids in low-income households have books to read. And that will pay dividends for children for years to come. It's through our If You Give a Child a Book campaign. Please join us in our mission. You can donate now through September 11th. To give, just go to WRTV.com/giveabook. Ballots to some voters in key battleground states are going to be mailed out beginning tomorrow. That means the first votes of the general election will be cast as early as next week. And as our Joe St. George tells us, what happens next could tell the entire country whether this election will have voting issues or not.
If you thought the presidential candidates had plenty of time to convince voters, think again. The battleground state of North Carolina mailing out absentee ballots on Friday, the first in the nation.
We're also getting flooded with absentee ballot request forms.
Kristen Scott is the director of elections in Halifax County, North Carolina. Population 50,000. She says in 2016 she had 200 absentee ballot requests. This year, because of the pandemic, she's received 2,000, and it's only early September. Scott only has a staff of 3.
It's been kind of tough, but we're trying to get through it.
What happens in North Carolina will impact other states as well. Will voters return their ballots right away, well before the first presidential debate? Or will they return their ballots with an error and it won't be counted?
Once you get your ballot, it's best to go ahead and complete it and send it back in.
Scott explained to us North Carolina's rules, which may be different than yours. In North Carolina, every absentee ballot needs to have a witness signature. If it's not there, it won't be counted. Election officials are allowed to try and find the voter to fix their ballot as long as polls haven't closed yet. If it's found after polls close on election night,
it'll be rejected.
So how many ballots are expected to have errors and not be counted?
In the primary, we saw about 15% of absentee ballots rejected.
Allison Riggs is with the Southern Coalition for Social Justice. Her biggest fear, the election could come down to whether voters follow directions or not. She advises all voters in all states to pay attention to phone calls.
We need voters to know and keep an eye out for communications from their county elections officials.
In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Facebook has rolled out a plan to stop efforts to undermine the 2020 presidential election. The company says it will not accept new political ads the week before the election in November. Facebook will remove posts claiming people will get COVID-19 if they vote. The company will also label misinformation about the election and voting. But Facebook will continue to allow politicians to run lies and misinformation in ads through Election Day. CEO Mark Zuckerberg says fact checkers and journalists will have had ample time to scrutinize them before Election Day. The NFL will feature social justice statements in the end zones this season. Commissioner Roger Goodell says the phrases will include "It takes all of us" and "End racism." They'll be stenciled in paint in each team's end zones all season. It's one in a series of social justice initiatives the league has planned, including helmet decals and a voter activation push. The league launched a voting initiative in July called NFL Votes. Voter education programs have been conducted with players on all 32 teams. Goodell says the league encouraged teams to offer their stadiums as polling centers, and all league facilities will be closed on Election Day so players and staff can vote. And yes, we know it's September, but if you have kids, it's not too early to start brushing up on a Christmas shopping list. Walmart has insight on what will be tops in toys this year. The Paw Patrol Dino Patroller, the Jetson Plasma Hoverboard, and a Bop It game with a Baby Yoda theme are all expected to be popular items. The top toys are tested and selected by kids. Walmart merchandising experts say this year's picks show kids are choosing different toys due to the coronavirus pandemic. A Nebraska man with a serious bone to pick has gone viral after going on a wing rant at a city council meeting that was quite saucy.
I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. Nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken.
A man named Anders Christensen is on a crusade to rename bite-sized chicken chunks. He objects to their being called boneless wings. He wants the city council to ban that name in his town. He says he'd prefer something like wet tenders or saucy nugs. Some council members could barely hide their amusement over his subject of debate, but he says he's not afraid to challenge the pecking order. I am sure those council members are.
Hey, we'll have the vote for you at 11, I hope. We'll see how it is. 75, the high tomorrow with lots of sunshine.
Some people have too much time on their hands. I have nothing to say. Good night.